Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our brand new ISPO Munich Online. My name is Dan Ram. It's my joy and honor to be your host for the next, not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 days. Breathe in, because I'm about to tell you something that may shock you. This is new, this is fresh, this is digital, and we've got a lot happening. Right after this opening ceremony, the triple threat. So let me explain what you have access to. The first part of the triple threat, Expo TV. We've got a beautiful space with over 500 brands, and I'm going to navigate you through that. Then we have our conferencing with over 100 topics, workshops, panels, keynotes, and so much more. And then, never been done before, a public stream where we're going to invite into the studio elite athletes and show you exclusive content. And I mean exclusive, aka you would have to pay for that otherwise. All of that, but like I said, this is new, and I know some of you are still clicking around and going, where's that voice coming from? I don't see him. So welcome to our new digital home right now. I hope you can hear and see me. Like I said, I'm going to moderate and MC one of the people that is in here to help you through this. I'm excited, and right now, if you could just look to the side, there is a chat bar. Why not tell us where you're watching from? We'd love to give you a shout out. I'll be looking through that event chat section. So just look at the event chat to your right, and then we'll have it. So with that, let me just say, we're going to start with a bang. We're going to bring a wonderful gentleman that many people will know. He studied German, wanted to be a teacher, had his first job actually with the Bavarian State Library, and then rose to the ranks to win the Order of Merit from the federal government of Germany. He has been the CEO of Messe München for the last 10 years. Please welcome Klaus Dietrich. Come on, come on.
Hi, Dan.
So we are used to having some applause and stuff. It's a different world.
Yeah.
But tell me, even though things may have changed, even though we're in a lockdown, what are you excited about for this ISPO?
Today I'm excited to meet a world champion for the opening, and tonight a guest of surprise for our ISPO Cup award ceremony.
Now, you have hosted the ISPO Cup in the past. It's a black tie event. It's exclusive, so exclusive that even I didn't show up.
Yeah.
But this year we're going to make it public. So we're very excited about that. You know, the theme this year is Sport is Stronger. What does that mean to you?
I think everybody or many people experience themselves which force sport can develop to overcome this pandemic.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to leave the stage to you, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear members of the worldwide sports community, welcome at our ISPO Online, ISPO Munich Online. Over the next 5 days, the sports business will come together virtually. At ISPO Munich Online, well over 100 international top speakers joining us in the studio, and about more than 500 exhibitors in their digital brand rooms. Normally, we would have traveled to the Munich fairgrounds. We would be excited which innovations would be displayed at ISPO Munich. We would inhale the atmosphere of the worldwide sports community in the entrance hall already. And we were open for new inspirations and happy to meet friends and colleagues. With the pandemic, all this isn't possible anymore. Since the last ISPO, the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have hit us directly and very hard. But even our theme expresses that we firmly believe we will emerge from the crisis stronger than before. The name of our theme is Sport is Stronger. This grew out of our conviction that sport gives physical and mental strength in this situation. Sport promotes movement and creates a sense of community and solidarity. That's why Sports is Stronger is particularly positive signal to send the sports community. Let us work together for a future worth living in. In times of pandemic, we provide the sports and outdoor industry a platform to come together and to work together. The need for networking, for exchange, for perspectives and for business is now greater than ever. We have designed every aspect of ISPO Munich on site to satisfy your needs for professional exchange in a digital way. To this end, in the expo area and in the conference area, we have comprehensive chat functions, a virtual cafe, business speed dating, many workshops and digital meeting rooms. Over the next 5 days, you will also receive answers to your most pressing questions. How can I overcome the impacts of the coronavirus crisis? How do I take advantage of the increased significance of sports and outdoors for my field of work? What are the current findings from expert studies and industry surveys on the subject? The main topics are innovation and creativity, digitalization, health, and sustainability. I'm pleased that we have top-class keynote and panels with 100 experts and many personalities from different areas on board. I would like to sincerely thank all of our partners, sponsors, and associations. I would like to extend a special thank to our ISPO team, who did a great job, and give a very special thank you to our event partners who tried with us to establish this digital platform: Adidas Terex, Gore, Icebreaker, Mammut, MyClimate, and Unser. ISPO Munich Online is our joint opportunity to create momentum and to find solutions and innovative new ways out of the crisis. Make the most of this chance, but above all, I wish you stay healthy. And now, it's my honor to welcome the incumbent long jump world champion Malaika Mihambo for our opening interview. So, welcome Malaika.
Thank you for welcoming me.
We are happy to see you. In our preliminary talk, you told us our motto for ISPO Munich Online, "Sport is stronger," is very fitting. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's a really good theme because the crisis, as you mentioned earlier, showed us that it's really important to unite us all, to stay in solidarity and be one team, because we are all in the same situation, all in this difficult situation. And sport can help us to physically get stronger, but also to, unite with people, get together. Even if you're on social distancing, you don't have to be physical in the same room or place and make sport, but it's possible to do it online or to do it with an app, so you can share your results and be still in a community, even if you're not able to meet people.
By the way, we all will have the opportunity during the next 5 days to make sports together virtually. Malaika, at the start of the first lockdown, you soon started an initiative, offered exercise hours for elementary school pupils with your Herzsprung campaign on YouTube. Since then, you founded the Malaika's Herzsprung Club. Can you tell us a bit about why this engagement is so important for you?
I started to engage with primary school kids in November 2019. I had a class where I was giving sport lessons once a week, and this was really, really interesting and so inspiring to surround yourself with kids. They are so open and so enthusiastic and really motivated to move and to be active, and I really liked that and enjoyed the time. But when the first lockdown came, it was clear that there were no schools and no lessons possible, but I still wanted to be there for the kids, so I gave online lessons, and it was really fun. I think many children enjoyed it, and there was really plenty of good feedback, and that was really something that showed me that it's really important to be an active role model for children, and also to enable them to do their sports even in these difficult times. And that was the reason why I founded the Malaika's Herzsprung Club after that.
I think a really a good role model to manage this situation and to give an impact to the society, to young people, to motivate them to do sports. You are the incumbent world champion. You wanted to train in the US with Carl Lewis, and the Olympic Games were due to take place in this year. Then came the pandemic. How are you handling, Malaika, the crisis to keep the future completely open for you?
What the crisis taught me is to think in small steps, just one after another. So I just have an outlook on the week or maybe two, and I plan my training, I schedule it, and these times need us to be flexible and to be not clingy on some fixed appointments or plans. So that's what I learned, to be more flexible and have a short time horizon, but never miss the long-term goal if it's possible. But living with this uncertainty, needs us to be, like I said, more flexible and to adapt to the new situations, to be open and just accept how it is right now, and that we cannot change much of what is going on.
Definitely, I think flexibility and agility is one of the keys to overcome this situation. But I don't want to miss to congratulate you. You just won a competition yesterday or the day before yesterday in Düsseldorf. So again, good luck for your future sports career. I think you are handling the situation very wisely and calmly. What would you advise others who may now be going through the most challenging and stressful period of their life?
Well, I mean, it's difficult for all of us. So this is something that might also be something that is also encouraging, knowing that people are struggling in their lives too, and being in a stressful situation. And that is something that might help, but I think it's really important to focus on what you can change and deal with that. So maybe it's just your attitude, because like I said, much what's going on right now we cannot change. It needs time to be fixed or handled properly. So the best thing you can do is stay calm and keep, or just change the perspective you have on life or a situation, and then the situation might be not so severe anymore if you can change your point of perspective.
Stay calm and stay active and try to find ways out of the crisis. That's our motto as well. Each year, ISPO Munich is somehow like the annual Olympic Games on the worldwide sports community. How important is it for you, Malaika, that this community now also stands together online and is able to meet and network on this way?
Yeah, I think it is really important that we stay connected, that we think about new ways how we can approach the world, because the crisis needs us to be like that. But I think there's plenty of room where some new stuff can grow. So new kind of technologies, or maybe just some frames in which you approach life. So I think this is also a chance. And like I said at the beginning, sport is really important for uniting people, and it has such a powerful force which can also bring peace to situations, to connect people, show fair play and tolerance. So I think it's really important that we keep on growing these values of sport.
Thank you very much, Malaika, for your insights, for your opinions. We are very happy to have you here for the opening of ISPO Munich Online this year. All the best, good luck for the future career, and good luck, and we hope that you can travel as soon as possible to the US to have the training with Carl Lewis. Thank you very much, Malaika. And now I hand over to Dan to explain us the program and the next step. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Klaus. Thank you for that wonderful conversation. If I may, I'm so sorry for being clunky with all of you, but I am loving the engagement online. Honestly, we have Katie from New Zealand. Hello. Constanza says encouraging words from Malaika. We've got people from Portugal. Tanya's in Portugal. Hello. So I'm seeing all of your comments. Keep the engagement going. We've got Elena from Russia. Of course, a lot of people from Germany. We got Carl in Canada. I mean, how many time zones are we in right now? This is amazing. So the reason I'm telling you this is because we want to try to make it as engaging as possible. So if you look of all the ticket holders, you have event chat, private chat, and you have questions. For this next session, if we have some time, we're going to take questions with our amazing guests that we have. So let me tell you about our guests, and then if we have time, I'm going to take your questions. So drop questions in there. He comes from probably Europe's most famous family of futurologists. His topic is the future, and especially around the intergenerational perspectives around the future. Obviously, the pandemic is a massive topic, and so we want to figure out, is coronavirus, COVID-19, this pandemic, is it a megatrend or not? No better person than the very well-known, well-respected, well-appreciated speaker from Generation Y. It is the amazing Tristan Horx. Tristan, are you here? Can you see us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I hope you can hear me too. Thank you very much for those kind words.
Tristan, very grateful to have you. We'll give you a few minutes. Please take it away.
All right, brilliant. I also have a presentation with me, which I hope is on screen very soon. Maybe just, because that was a very nice introduction to me. I work at a think tank called the Zukunftsinstitut, which means as much as Future Institute. And this institute, all we do is try to research the impossible, which is the future. And since the future somewhat seems unattainable, I would kind of like to just run you through how we look at the world, what megatrends are, and how we see what COVID has to do with it. And then at the very end, I have a little take out of one of our sports studies, because we also do research to different branches, and we've done sports as well. So I have quite a lot to go through. I will not be talking about sports too much, but more about what I'm good at, which is trends. So the main issue that I've noticed with the world of trends and how we communicate about trends is that we kind of always think a phenomenon that we notice, even though it's very small, but very loud, that it's a megatrend. I've heard very small phenomena be called anything. Megatrends, gigatrends, super trends. We all want the trend that we observe, or the one that we might be profiting from, to be a megatrend, because that's good and that will last for a long time, and we want that. And the problem is there are different types of trend categories. And it's very important to look which category are we talking about right now, so we don't make the mistake of blowing something out of proportion. So this is how we categorize which type of trend we would be looking at. What you can see here on the left-hand side, the words, is the different types of categories we look at. So from the smallest that interests us, the product, up to the biggest, nature. And then you will see that there's a plethora of different trend phenomena. You have consumption trends, branch trends, sociocultural trends, meta trends, which are absolutely ginormous, and then mega trends, and at the top right, hypes. And what you can see next to each of these categories is basically the waves of change of a phenomenon such as this. So you will see up the change line near the product is absolutely erratic and essentially very, very difficult to foresee. Whereas the bigger the category becomes, the more even the lines of change become. And thus, subsequently, we can actually then make real prognoses about them. Here, I would just like to kind of show you the difference between hypes at the top right, which always happen on product levels, and then megatrends, which you can see encompass technology, economy, society, and the market. So they're very big, very slow, very powerful trends, whilst hypes are very small, usually live in the product world only, but due to how media, communication, and online hypes work, they always get blown out of proportion. I started my career off, I remember, by walking around different interview studios, and the only thesis I had really was Pokemon Go, if you maybe remember that, is not a megatrend. It's a hype. And as quickly as it came, as quickly it also disappeared. So I think sometimes if you see a phenomenon right now and you're asking yourself, is this a megatrend, or is it something smaller, or is it a different trend category? Just try putting it into this matrix here, and you will see things become a lot more clear and a lot more organized. So now the question, what exactly a megatrend is? You see which, whereabout you can find it, but obviously we kind of want a definition too. We call megatrends revolutions in slow motion. And that's why often we don't notice them as strong, because they're happening all the time, every day, every second. And they need to run 25 years plus. They need to be ubiquitous, so they need to be able to be found in all different areas of life and economy. And they need to be global. And I think, especially because we have such a lovely international crowd here today, I'd like to say, when I say global, these megatrends will be at different parts of their evolution in different places on the planet. So for instance, a megatrend like individualization of society will be at a different point in America, Europe, and Asia. I think this is just important to mention again. They're all these megatrends are in constant change and constant shift. And depending on where on the planet you are, they're just at a different point in their evolutionary cycle. This is just a quick definition of what a megatrend is. And now I come to the big reveal. Corona, or the Corona crisis, or what's happening right now, is not a megatrend. Mainly because it's not going to run for 25 years plus, so I can relax you with that. But COVID-19 has done something nearly even more interesting than being a megatrend. It has accelerated all the megatrend dynamics that we register, but it has not created any new ones. And Corona is not a megatrend. We are working on a new edition of our trend matrix, which I'm about to show you in a second. And we have noticed that in the trend world of tomorrow, we will not be using the word COVID even once. So I invite you to think forward to a future where we look back to COVID and said, oh yeah, that was the time when suddenly our eyes became open. As they say, hindsight is 20/20 after all. So now let me show you, because this might have all seemed a little bit abstract, let me show you how we at our institute, how we organize all of these megatrends, because obviously you've been waiting for the big reveal now. And this is how we do it. This is the megatrend map. This is what we are known for in the German-speaking sphere especially. And what you can see before you is clearly a metro line system. And basically, just to explain how this works, each of the train lines that you see here, all the different colored lines, so health, individualization, civil society, security, and so on, these are our megatrends. And all of the stations in this metro system below them are trends from smaller categories that I just showed you before. So technology trends, branch trends, and so on, but never hypes. So our goal is to have megatrends as the lines here, and the stations are subtrends, smaller trend categories. And what you will see is that there are also intersection points. So where you would get out of your train and swap or so. And we've noticed that when many megatrends meet together, that is when you create phenomena that have real impact and last for really long and are very interesting. So what this map is basically supposed to tell you is two things. One, there's a lot going on in the trend world. And secondly, all trends are somehow connected in one way or another. So you can never just look at one trend and try to understand them. You must understand them in their complexity. And what it also tells us, and this is maybe just to reiterate this, if you imagine there's constantly stuff happening in this map. Every few years or every year, we change a few of these trends to more reflect the actuality, but the mega trends, they stay the same, and they have stayed the same for the past 25 years. And what Corona has essentially done is put in a huge bolt of energy, trend energy, into this map. And so there's way more happening right now, and it's a very exciting time to be a futurist, if I may say so. Now, let me just quickly introduce these megatrends. So we have 12 of them, and I don't want to go through all of them because I think most of the terminologies are actually quite well known, or to a certain extent explanatory. I think it might be interesting to say here, the only megatrend that has ever been added to this megatrend map and this systematic that we've been using for 20 years now is security. And it's interesting to see that security and connectivity, so the good old question of what's digital and what's not, have a lot of touch points, a lot of stations. If you think back to the model of the train map, a lot of stations between them. because obviously we know a lot of security questions are now happening in the digital. So this is the 12 megatrends. I promised there was a sort of energy shot into the megatrend map, and megatrends were accelerated and decelerated. So the question is, who are the winners and who are the losers in the trend world through megatrends? These are our 5 robust megatrends. These are going to run as we kind of expected them to. So we have individualization, gender shift, civil society, knowledge culture, and health. So these are safe bets, I would say, in the world of megatrends and what Corona did to them. So they're just going to roll along as we kind of thought they would, obviously with a tiny bit of acceleration because everything is happening quicker right now. But this was kind of what we expected. Then we have, I'm going to be so honest to say, the megatrend losers right now. So on the one hand, we have mobility. I think it's quite clear that we are traveling less right now and that it's difficult to travel. But then we also have urbanization. And I think mobility may actually bounce back quite soon. I think mobility is somewhat of a human right. People really like it. And if you look at the global world and know that 75% of people on this planet have never seen the inside of an airplane, then it kind of changes your perspective on, will we travel more after Corona? I believe the democratization of travel is going to increase afterwards, down the line. But a more interesting dynamic, I think, has happened about urbanization. Because now suddenly, if you live in a big megacity, you may really ask yourself the question, what's the point during the lockdown? The negatives maybe of the big city have become more visible to people. And if you ask people in a party city like Berlin right now, you will feel their pain. So these are the robust megatrends and the losers, if you may. And now the question is, who are the winners? And before I jump into who are the winners with you, I would just like to take a little excursus into how future is actually created. So we have the big reveal of the megatrend winners at the end of the presentation. So trends are usually the description of the present and are usually vectors. So we can see this is a general direction something is developing into. And the problem that many of us have, and in this pandemic even more, and I understand it, is that we do or make linear projections. So we assume essentially that the future either goes upwards forever, as you can see here, towards utopia, everything becomes better. I think it probably must be a cult member nowadays to believe that's the case. Or a way of thinking that's very common in the German-speaking sphere is that everything gets worse and worse and worse towards dystopia. And the reason why this, as I mentioned, this job futurist, futurology is a bit ominous and a bit weird, why it can exist is because, as you can see here, the true future lies in between these two and always happens in these annoying, uncalculatable cycles, these loops towards the future. And it's important to understand these loops, in my opinion, in order to understand where we're really heading. These loops we call recursion theory. And actually it says nothing else but that every trend in time also receives a counter trend. And I totally understand if you're watching a trend phenomenon and then you suddenly notice pushback against it, a counter trend, an antithesis towards your trend, that you may think, oh, was I wrong? No. You require a counter trend when you have a trend. So don't worry, relax, the counter trend is natural. And this is how trends turn into evolution or have an evolutionary cycle, because then they turn into a synthesis. So they combine together. So one could say that the future is always created then when things that you would think were impossible to combine actually became combined. I'll give you just a very simple example, which I think is also quite funny, to be honest. At the moment, we have these two trend worlds. We have veganism, that has been a trend for some time. And now for some time, there's been the counter trend, which is exemplified by this newspaper, beef. I wouldn't even know what to call this trend. Meat fetishists or something, I'm not sure. But generally, we can see these two are very loud phenomena fighting against each other, veganism and beefinism, or whatever we want to call it. But what is the synthesis, and how does the synthesis say us that it is future possible? The synthesis is what we call flexitarians. So people who don't eat meat like a fetishist all the time, but also do not eat purely vegan. But when they eat meat, they look for good and healthy meat, and probably bio meat too, so ecologically good meat. And they will also eat vegetarian sometimes, and that's completely fine. And 40% of Germans, at least, say that they are flexitarians. I'm not sure everyone's understood exactly what the point is, but I think the course and the way this works is quite clear. And so when future is created, and that's why I wanted to make this short excursus with you, is that all the trend words that are truly future fit are always paradox within themselves, because they're always created from a trend and a counter trend. This is just a small array of different trend words that we believe are very future fit, and many of these you might actually already know. For instance, real digital is a complete paradox in itself. Or freemium, the mixture of premium and free content. Or co-opetition, the mixture of competition and cooperation. Glocalization, the mixture of the local and the global. Flexicurity, the mixture of flexibility and security. These are all things we would think are impossible. And that's why I'm trying to tell you this ambivalence that you require when you read these words and think that's not possible. That is when precisely future is created. And I think that's one thing that we as futurists obviously have to deal with a lot. And that's something I would kind of like to spread towards you, that just because something seems convoluted and paradox within itself doesn't necessarily mean it's not actually where we are headed. Okay, so now to give you the big answer, the big reveal, what are the post-corona megatrends? Who are the winners, if I may say so? I've got these 4 here for you, and interestingly enough, and not because I did this on purpose, most of these megatrends are actually also, when you look at the next 3 days you have here at the ISPO, you will notice that many of them have one of these megatrends as a topic. So I think we might be onto something here, the two of us. But these are the 4 megatrends, and I have one bonus that I'd like to introduce to you at the end. Ecology, regionalization, security, and connectivity, which is also known as the digital. Let's jump into it. Ecology, we already have the vaccine for global warming. We just need to freaking administer it. And I think this has become very clear. It says here, the tourist, I mean the tourist of the future. This is within an exercise where you look towards, put yourself into the future, and you're just a tourist there looking around, and you will notice that this tourist of the future will value ecology even more than we did before the crisis, because we have seen the whole game does not work. The whole system is too interconnected for people to do their own, go on their own little paths, especially when we're talking about a global and national scale. And crises are no longer abstract. I don't think seeing travel is evil, flight shaming and so on, is future fit either. But I do believe that, and we as an institute believe that greenwashing will become harder because crises are no longer abstract, and because people will say, do you remember Fridays for Future? All the things that they asked for weren't really possible when they asked for them. But then came Corona, and suddenly everything they asked for happened. Yeah? Traveling less, thinking more about consumption, slowing down the economy. So I think this is a lesson learned, that if we hold together, if we use societal intelligence, social intelligence, then we can overcome crises. And the same applies, in my opinion, to the question of global warming as well. We need to change our behavior to a certain extent, and we also need technological innovation. In the context of Corona, that is the vaccine, and that's kind of what we did. We were socially intelligent, empathetic, held together, and then the vaccine came down the line. Okay, then we have regionalization. I think very, very interesting topic right now. Long live the regional. We noticed already before Corona that regional products and connections were gaining in value. And then we saw the whole global supply chain kind of crash and burn to a certain extent. And we think the regional will become important in more and more facets of consumption and life. However, do not mistake re-regionalization, so the counter trend to the globalization, as a one-way street. As you learned, the future is a mixture of both. So the word that we like to use here is glocal. Yeah? So nowadays it is no problem, and we are witnessing this right now in this conversation, to like your region, live in your region, and at the same time still be connected with the world. And that is what glocal is. Then we have security. I think pretty clear security will become more and more important. I don't think only in a virological sense. I think the main consequence of this will be that the world of tomorrow will need relationship building and trust as a form of currency. Digital questions, yeah, it always annoys people when I say this, but Corona is going to throw us into the post-digital age, where we no longer need to talk about the word digital because it has become clear. We don't talk about the word industrialization much anymore either, but I think we all also suffered a big digital overdose now, and we still are to a certain extent. I expect a very big anti-digital counter trend to follow after we have reconnected the world. And then at some point after that, once we've gone through that loop, we will no longer have to talk about the word digitalization. My bonus megatrend that I promised, new work. I think work-life balance is dead. Work-life balance implies that while the time you work, you do not live. And I don't know about you, but I like myself too much to sacrifice 8 hours of my life every day, 5 days a week. So work-life blending is now coming, where you mix the two organically. And this will lead to a lot of different interesting phenomena, but one that I'd like to share with you, and then I'm nearly done, don't worry, is the concept of workation, where you mix vacation and work. And I've done this, and it's very, very interesting. Imagine, clearly I live in a German-speaking country, so I go to the Alps, and in the mornings I do all my digital conferences, do all my meetings, all the work that I need to do, and in the afternoon I might go skiing, or I might go for a walk through the Alps. It's an interesting way to work. This clear division between work and life has disappeared. Finally, just on the, yes, I'm on it. The question of health, I believe that basically what has happened is we have created more and more civilizational diseases. We have a counter trend of mindfulness against this, and we are now moving towards the world of new health. And I think that essentially this new health world that we call sportivity. Sportivity is a combination of society and sport, which means breaking records will be interesting, but it is there mainly to motivate people to get towards sport, so we actually integrate sport into the 21st century. And with that, I say thank you, and sorry for talking a little bit too long.
Thank you so much. Tristan, thank you very much for those amazing words. We're going post-digital, then we're going anti-digital, and given that you and I are both millennials, I feel you on the whole work blending thing, man. So thank you for getting us thinking about that. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate that. You got us thinking on some massive, massive topics. So